Good morning people, welcome back to Slick's Car Care, and today is the day where we start work on the highest mileage 350Z in the UK. And what we're going to start with is this gammy interior. So there's two things I absolutely cannot stand about this. One is the colour. The colour of this leather is not very nice. It's also very worn on the bolsters, and it's also got some paint on the base of the seat and lots of wear on the driver's seat. The passenger seat's actually in alright condition. The gear knob is practically worn through, the handbrake is worn through, the steering wheel is worn through at the bottom and just looking a little bit rough. But also as well, the smell on this car it's just disgusting. I can't stand it. And as I said in the last video, it's a smell that I can't put my finger on. I've never smelt this smell before. It's not disgusting, but it does really grate on your nose. So I've got to give this interior a good thorough deep clean while these seats are out. So we're going to recolour the leather, deep clean the interior, and see how much of a transformation we can make on this 350Z. So the first job on the interior was to get the seats out so we could look at recolouring them. This was dead easy to do. There's one bolt in each corner. And also 3 plugs underneath. The colour of these seats really just did not sit right with me. I did not like the colour. I know some people have said it will grow on me, but I can rest assured it definitely won't. It's not for me. Before we unplugged the seats, we wanted to make sure we disconnected the battery, and then that way we're not going to have any problems with airbag warning lights or anything when we start the car back up. Okay, so I've got one of the seats out. There's 3 plugs to disconnect on the bottom of the seats, with them being electric and heated. And already it's revealed a couple of things to me. So I can see straight away there's been some glass broken in this car. Obviously we've got chunks of what is possibly windscreen or something else. So obviously it was quite bad for chunks of glass to end up on the interior. The car has definitely been smoked in, and you know, it's probably well in need of a good clean on these carpets. I can't imagine that's ever been done before. So yes, definitely a good clean needed here. Let's get the passenger seat out and then we can look at all the other bits. So I think it looks like there's been more than just fag smoked in this car. There's been some herbs in here too. And also, I don't even know what this is, but yeah, it definitely needs a good clean. It's still stinking pretty bad. I don't know if that's a bit of mould there as well, so that might be the cause of our smell. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to hopefully getting rid of the stink in here. So next up was the steering wheel. This one was quite simple as well, and I made it a little bit harder than it needed to be to taking the steering wheel controls off before I needed to. But essentially there's 2 bolts in the side which release the airbag, and that just unplugs. And then the centre bolts, we take this most of the way off, crack it off, and then take it all the way off and remove it fully so we don't hit ourselves in the face with the steering wheel. Okay, so here we have the driver's seat out of the 350Z. So this is by far the most worn out of the 2, obviously, because this is the one that's going to be sat in the majority of the time. So you can see we've got loads of wear up this bolster here. We've got what looks like some red paint here, you know, some cracking and things like that, some wear through in certain areas. So before we can start looking at recolouring this, we want to prepare this properly to make sure the finish is going to be, you know, as good as possible. I'm not aiming for a perfect seat, and I want to keep some originality to it, but I do want to freshen it up at the same time. So the first thing we're going to do is fill in all of the nasty bits. So as always with any job like this, preparation is 90% of the work. And so the first stage of this is cleaning the seats down. We want to break down the top protective layer of the leather, and for this we use Colourlock's GLD solvent cleaner. So once the seats were cleaned down, I wanted to make sure there was no dust or dirt which was going to get in the way of getting a great finish on our seats. And look at all the rubbish that came out of them. It's disgusting, isn't it? The next step was sanding the seats down to ensure that everything that we apply over the top of this step is going to be able to stick. Once that was done and the seats were cleaned off again, it was time to apply our filler, which had been mixed with a tiny bit of the colour, into the cracks and the crevices of the seats that we wanted to improve. So once we had sanded back the excess filler and cleaned the seats again, it was time for a final wipe down and to start masking up, ready for our colouring stages. Okay, so I've now got the seats masked off. I'm not going to bother with the bottoms of the back, so I don't think I'll get any overspray on there, and even if I did, you wouldn't see it, and it's quite easy to clean off, so it just seems like a waste of masking tape. Not that I've been too bothered about that, because I've plastered it everywhere. Hopefully I've done it thoroughly enough. It would probably have been easier to take the side trims off, but I'm not great with plastic trims and clips, so I went for the option of masking it. I also need a way to, you know, prop this up so I can get to all sides of it without having to touch it, so give me a second. Thanks. So the 3 steps that we've got to do, we've got to prime the leather now with the primer, we've got to colour it, and then we've got to clear coat it. So let's get on with it. So with all stages of spraying, we always start off doing the fiddly, inaccessible areas first, then moving on to the bulk. So we spray the nooks and crannies, and then move on to the mass surface of the area that we're spraying. Okay, so we've now got the primer on. It's looking shiny at the moment, but once it's dry, it will be matte, and then we know it's ready for the colour coat. What the primer does is essentially make the perfect sticky surface for the colour to go onto, so the colour doesn't rub off. So next up is the colour. This is going to be the most exciting bit, I reckon. Now we still had a little bit of time to wait for that primer to dry, so it seemed like the prime opportunity to get started on that manky interior. So while the primer on the seats is drying before the colour, I'm going to take a crack at cleaning up the smell in this interior. Although the carpet, now giving it a hoover, does look pretty good, it definitely still needs further cleaning, so I've got to find where this smell is coming from. So the next thing I'm going to try is cleaning these carpets. So what I'm going to use for that is the new Detailaing Products interior cleaner. This is suitable for plastics, carpets, and pretty much any interior surface at all. So I'm going to spray this all over the carpet, agitate it all and extract it out, and then hopefully once that's dry, this smell will be gone. The great thing about this interior cleaner is it doesn't leave behind a sticky residue like a lot of others, and also it's actually scentless, so there's no nasty lingering odours left by the cleaning chemicals. So there we have it, the interior is now looking much better and smelling much better for now. We'll see when this is dried properly whether that is the smell fully dealt with or not. Now the Detailaing Products range has been developed by myself and Matt Armstrong to bring you guys at home a really user-friendly range of products which are super easy to use and deliver great results. So I'll leave a link in the description for you guys to go and check them out if they're released by the time this video goes out. If not, then I just gave you a little sneak preview, but keep your eyes peeled. I'm not going to lie, I'm actually a bit nervous about doing this. I've never done a full interior recolour before. I've only ever done like small leather repairs, so fingers crossed this goes okay. If it does, you've got to smash on that like button as a form of gratitude and congratulations for my great success. If it doesn't, then smash a like for trying. So I was under strict instructions to build this up in very thin layers to ensure the best finish, but patience isn't one of my strong characteristics, is the best way to put it. But I did do the best I could and build it up as thinly as possible, ensuring it would dry in between coats until we had complete coverage. So after lots and lots of fiddly spraying, the interior was starting to take shape. Now if you guys are new to the channel or you're not subscribed, don't forget to smash on that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any videos on the Z. So once we're happy with the level of coverage that we've got, that we've covered all of the orangey tan colour, it was time then to protect that new black layer with some clear coat. Okay, so we're now ready to put the top coat on. Apparently this mix gives a really good finish, but let's see if it's true or if it's rubbish. Let's go. One of the great things about the Colour Lock range is you can actually adjust the finish on the leather. So if you prefer a more glossy finish or a more matte or satin finish, you can do this by adjusting the amount of each product you use in the clear coat. Okay, so while the clear coat's going down on those seats and while it's drying, I'm going to start taking out the centre console. I've come out to the car again this morning and it's still smelling, but the carpets do look fresh, so I've got to still figure out what this smell is. I've already started pulling apart this centre trim. It's super easy to do. You've got one screw here either side, and then when you pop up the gear knob gaiter surround trim or whatever you want to call it, there's two screws, one there, and I think it just pops out after that. But This is looking pretty smelly for a start. I'm not even sure what that is or if it's factory fitted or not, but I think that's going to be coming out no matter what, because it looks like it reeks. And hopefully we'll find something else under here which is giving off this god-awful stink. What is all over this? That's not looking good to me. Okay, I'm getting really confused. This was cleanish when I picked the car up, and I've just given it a blowout, and I don't understand where all this grass is coming from. Like, has there been a lawn in this car, or has there been a tree growing in it? Has it been on its roof? I've got no idea, because there's glass and grass, and all. I just don't get it. Where is it all coming from? Why would it be in here? Is this causing the smell? I've got so many questions. So at this point, everything was coloured and clear coated, and the next job was to reassemble the steering wheel, but as always I seemed to put it together wrong the first time, so it's got to come back apart to go back together the correct way. So once the steering wheel and the airbag were both refitted, we could then look at refitting the handbrake cover, which wasn't the easiest to get on or off, I'll be honest with you. It took a fair bit of brute force, and I did damage it a little bit refitting it. And now it's time to admire all of our hard work. When we remove the masking, it shows how good a job it is that we've done, and to be honest with you, I couldn't be happier. Once that was done, it was time to refit the centre console multiple times to get it in correctly, I must add, and then we could get the seats back in and check out the final finished product. I do also want to apologise if the quality of the audio on this voiceover isn't as good as what it normally is. It will all be sorted very soon, don't worry. So now we're on the final hurdle. The seats were the opposite of what we did to take them out, so it was plugs in first, then we reattach the battery and then bolt it back up, and it's good to go. Yes, so that is the 350Z interior now complete. I'm about 2.5 days on that, but the result is so worth it. One, it smells a lot better, but that smell still isn't 100% gone, but we'll give it a bit of time. But two, that manky, battered, tan orange interior is now gone. There's none of it left. There's a couple of bits which ain't perfect, like the gear knob and the handbrake, but I can live with those. I think I'm going to change the gear knob anyway. The main bit is getting those seats and that steering wheel black all over and looking a lot fresher, and I think we've done that. So let's have a quick look at the finished result now. I think we can all agree that's looking a million times better than what it was when it was that horrible tan colour. And as we agreed earlier in the video, if it's a success, then you've got to smash on that like button as a congratulations for our teamwork on this project. So obviously there's still a few little touch-ins to do. There's a couple of tiny bits which I want to improve, but we can still do that. But I just wanted to see how it looked when it was back in the car and which bits were visible and which bits weren't. I also just want to quickly thank the guys at Colour Lock as well. Without these guys, the transformation of this interior would not have been possible. I've been working with these guys for a couple of years now through my business, and they've also supported this build as well. So I'll leave a link in the description for their website. If you're after anything from leather restoration products or general leather cleaning, anything like that to do with restoring leather. I think they've also got fabric cleaners and protectors and that sort of thing as well. Make sure you hit those guys up. As I said, I do want to replace that gear knob. I'm going to touch the handbrake in, but I think overall it's just so much better. I literally can't get over it. I'm so hyped about it. And it definitely is smelling a bit better than what it was before. And I think we're making great progress already just in one video. That's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.